Back in 2017, Spurs were one of the scariest teams in the world. 86 points in the league, a brick wall of a backline, a quartet of magicians up top, and a talisman of a manager. But somehow they just never won anything together, and a few years later, only one man remains. So today, on the back of the Golden Boys' departure, we're gonna bring them back to the top and finally win some silverware. First position we needed to address was the defense, bro. Like 63 goals conceded last season, disgraceful. And even though I like the signing of Van de Ven in real life, in game he's only 77 overall, so I got in the 24-year-old 80 overall David Honchko for 40 mil. Next I wanted another creative midfielder, because while we signed Madison for that, he's literally our only mid with any sort of artistic talent. So I got the exciting youngster Jesper Lindstrom for a cheap as hell 18.8 mil. And finally, I believe in the pigeon, man. Like I'm gonna give him a season. I'm gonna give him one. Therefore, instead of a Kane replacement, I got a Richarlison backup in Amine Adli for a light 17 mil. The season started off badly with the game against the Red Devils, where Schick boomed in the opener and we lost 1-0. And it didn't get much better from there either. Like, we scored a couple goals here and there, but after 10 games we were in 8th. I was right on the edge of being fired, but luckily we pulled out a huge win in the North London derby to help me stay employed. Then from there we started to kick on a little bit finally. Like, we were at least beating the teams we were supposed to now. And after this unnecessary Trivela from Richarlison, halfway through the season, we'd actually rebounded to 4th. We had a little bit of a rough patch after that as Kulusevski dislocated his shoulder, and we had Chelsea and Liverpool back to back. But we got revenge on Man United at Old Trafford, which kept us in the top 4 and actually in 3rd with 9 games left to go. A big reason for the success up till then was this man Vicario. Like, I'm just showing y'all some of his saves. This dude was a one-man bust. And against City, he turned up again, including one of the best saves I've ever seen, salvaging a draw from an otherwise lost game. That still kind of disrupted our momentum though, and in the crucial parts of the season, we really started to fumble. However, Arsenal and Man U were fortunately also fumbling, and a win in our last game at Fulham solidified Champions League football for the next season. Checking out the signings, first we got David Honchko, 43 games played, undisputed starter, no goal contributions for real, but overall in-game defensively, he was nice. Next was Amine Adli, little backup guy, but still 17 games played, 14 goals is an alright return, went up by 1 to 77 as well. And then Lindstrom was also a backup guy, but definitely did not make as much of an impact. 7 games and goose eggs all round, like went up to 78 though. But that was probably just because James Madison kept him out the team. 19 goals and 12 assists in his debut season. Son was the big man though, 23 and 11. However, Richarlison only 13 goals, you know. I mean, it got me thinking. And finally, here's the entire squad end of season 1. Very happy with the result. 3rd place is great, but you know, definitely a lot to do in season 2. First order of business this season was getting a new backup goalie. Forster's a cool guy and all, but like, man is an elder, you know what I'm saying? So I got in a 24-year-old Jan Melier for a light 18 mil. Next I had to get Porro back because his loan expired, and that took a whopping 68.9 mil plus Lo Celso. Like EA gotta fix these loan to buy deals, bruh. So unfortunately there was only room for one more signing, and yeah, Richarlison, I'm sorry man, you know, I know you're the new R9, I know you play like prime Pele for Brazil, but just 13 goals wasn't gonna cut it, man. If we wanted to compete for trophies, we needed at least 20 plus, so I splashed the dollars, man. Randall Kolo Muani came in for a massive 75 mil. The new boy instantly made his name known in our first few games, scoring goal after goal, absolutely clipping these small fish. We ran into Man City after, but it was actually Richarlison off the bench who got us the big time win, bringing us to 1st place after 10 games. Then it began to get a bit rocky, and this Newcastle game was the epitome of that, as while Kolo Muani just disrespected the entire defense, we conceded twice in the second half for a disappointing draw. And on Christmas Eve, it was not a good gift for the fans, as Chelsea finessed us by 1 goal and dropped us to 5 points behind top spot at the halfway mark. We had an opportunity for revenge right away though, as the Blues were our opponents in the Carabao semis. However, while Kolomouani yet again just produced absolute brilliance, they scored the next 3 goals in the cup tie and blocked us from yet another trophy chance. The choker allegations were going crazy at this point, as we'd also failed to make it through to the CL knockouts, like we was in the Europa League. But that actually might have been a blessing in disguise, as we motored our way through the knockout stage and ended up in the final. We hit Barcelona instantly with the Kolomouani 10th minute slider, and then Bentancur came oh so close to making it 2 after. Barca then started to do their thing though, and without some good keeping from Vicario, we would have been at least level at halftime. Unfortunately for them, however, their hard work was undone by this beauty from Kulusevski merely 5 minutes into the second, and even though they tried a bit more and scored once because of me being stupid, they just couldn't make it all the way back, and we at last lifted the 16-year trophy curse from the white side of North London. In the league, we ended up finishing second, Man City gonna Man City, but we came pretty close, you know, only 4 points off. And only 2 signings to see this season, with Meslier surprisingly 27 appearances, like almost the same as Vicario. I see you, but I know who you're here for, man. You know, it's Kolomouani, and he kinda flopped, you know, I mean, 15 goals, 7 assists, it's an alright stat line, but just kinda underwhelming. But just ignore that for a sec, because Heung-min Son just produced one of the greatest seasons in history. 40 goals, 14 assists, up to 91 overall. Like, just, I don't know, man. Kulusevski was great also, 18-15, Madison 17-8, Richarlison with another 13-3 assists as well. And yeah, here's the entire squad end of season 2. Like, obviously very happy, got the elusive trophy out the way, Son went God mode, and now it's time to compete for the big ones. The starting 11 at this point was all good, like look at it, it's majestic. However, the bench, the depth, you know, still had some holes in it. So the first one I decided to fill was a backup box-to-box center mid, and for that I got the experienced Seko Fofana for a slight 26 mil. Next was a backup RCB, as while Davinson had been doing a job there, he's kind of volatile, you feel me? So I got another option in Mavropanos for 32.5 mil. And lastly, I wanted a different type of player behind Kulusevski, somebody faster, somebody more energetic, and the man for that was Samuel Chukwueze, who I paid 48 millions to snag. This time we were not messing around, man. We were going quick as hell, and the first 10 games pretty good once again, as we ended up in a 3-way tie for first. We were gunning straight for the finals and the titles, you feel me? Man City nothing on us, man. Højbjerg and Vicario, the unexpected heroes. No funny business in the CO group stage this time either. Juve, Celtic, and Hadra got themselves rocked home and away, and we topped the group easily, 14 points. And after some more beatdowns of the peasantry halfway through the season, we were leading everybody. Not by a whole lot though, only 3 points. We actually made the Carabao final this time, and in it we triumphed through a Kolomouani early slider, getting our first piece of silverware this season. Champions League round of 16 was also pretty calm. We had Wolfsburg, who, with all due respect, are babies compared to us, you know what I'm saying? Us and Man City had also just ran away with the league at this point. Like, we were 2 points ahead of them, but they were 9 points ahead of third. But in my opinion, the CO was the biggest catch of them all, so I turned my attention to the path to the promised land. In the quarters, we drew Benfica, and yeah, we just put them in a body bag, man. Bentancur, Madison, Vicario, all making plays in a dominant 3-0 win. Second leg didn't even need to be played, and then we welcomed our neighbors in red for a famous semi-final tie. Son curled in a beauty for the first goal, and Kulusevski snatched a lucky rebound to make it 2, but Jesus scored a bit later to make it interesting going into the second. However, in the most hostile of environments, after some heroic last-ditch defensive plays, James Maddison came through with the crucial free kick to send us through to the big one. And that big one was to be against the money merchants Paris Saint-Germain. Can money finally win, or will our 3-year journey culminate in ultimate glory? Madison instantly linked with Kolomowani, but Donnarumma snuffed the one-on-one, and then Kulusevski had a clean shot at goal, but the Italian said no to that as well. After that, the game tightened up a bit, a few bad passes, some tackles flying in, but in the 30th, our industry man Bentancur popped up with the first goal in the final. At halftime, it was calm, you know, still 1-0. However, we began the second playing horribly, defending for our lives at times, and it finally ended up in Sesko blazing in the equalizer in the 64th, and the game was back on. We flipped the switch in our heads after that, but you know, it's easier said than done. We just couldn't really fashion anything. But in the 89th minute, Randall Kolomowani paid back the $75 million we spent on him and more with the legendary tap-in to put our name in the history books. We did end up winning the league as well. It wasn't even close in the end. 8 points between us and City. The signings this season were just backups, so nothing too interesting. First is Mavropanos, who played 19 games, 3 goals. Seko Fofana was cool as well, 17 games, 1 goal, 1 assist. You know, a good veteran for the locker room. And Chukwueze, not too much either. 19 games, 2 goals, 1 assist. You know, just good depth. But we had a new leader in the house, man. Dejan Kulusevski, 29-20, a 2020 season. Kind of crazy, man. Son's still great, 27-16. Kolomowani, you know, came through with a better goal count, 23-6. Madison solid again, 15-9. Here's the final squad. You can tell why we won so much. Like look at, like, man, everyone is amazing, and that's gonna be about it. Beautiful team, beautiful progression, beautiful goals, beautiful results. Nothing else to say, man. A resounding success. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Like and subscribe if you did. Comment, share, all that, and I'll see you in the next one.